Welcome back to The Toast. My name is Josh Rogina, and today we are having a discussion with Zachary Fraser, President and CEO of American Pistachio Growers. Today we discuss emerging markets, marketing American pistachios, and getting consumption up. Tune in. Zachary, why don't we go ahead and kick it off by having you introduce yourself?
Okay. Well, you did a great job to start with, but I'm Zachary Fraser with American Pistachio Growers. I started with the organization last June, so I've been on the job for about 16 months now, and I'm one of these kids that's not like the other. I came from a 20-year career in sports management before coming over into pistachios, so enjoying the last year and a half of really diving headfirst into a pretty amazing industry and group of people.
So what made you transition from sports to ag?
There's a lot of factors that went into the decision. Let me back up to where I started being introduced to pistachios for the first time. So grew up on the East Coast, loved eating pistachios, like most people my age, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, have the stories of the red stained fingers because of the dye. My grandmother would always be excited to have them at Christmas time. So, I mean, there's a tradition of eating pistachios, but I wasn't part of the industry. And certainly I had no idea where they came from, how they were grown, how they were harvested. And about 4 years ago, I was in a role here in Fresno and had the opportunity to be introduced to a processor. Ended up doing a marketing deal in sports in a sports marketing platform with this processor, and they kind of allowed me to see behind the curtain of what the pistachio industry looked like. And so that was really my first introduction to it. And through the course of those 3 or 4 years, was able to become connected with more people in the industry. And when the board of directors invited me to be interviewed for the position, I was curious. I think I was more curious than anything else. I had already had a lot of good relationships and people that I had seen, people that I trusted in the industry or in the community, trusted in people that had shown me how quality the human beings are. And so when the invitation was offered to interview, I said yes. I figured if they say no, it's because I'm not the right fit. If they say yes, then I get to go help change an industry. So
that's awesome.
That's how I got here.
It's awesome. Well, as you may know, obviously we're in the midst of pistachio harvest. Is there anything unordinary about this year that you at APG might be seeing going on in the industry? Crops are looking pretty good. We've had some fantastic weather here in California.
Can I ask you a question? What is a normal year? That's my curiosity.
Yeah. So a normal year in California, for example, last year we had 30 days above 100 degrees.
Yeah.
This year, I don't know that we made 4 consecutive days above 100 degrees. So the growing conditions were amazing here in California. One thing we're still trying to put our finger on is why almond yields are off in terms of, actual in-shell sizing versus, you look at the trees, the holes look, full heavy crop, but when they get to the processor, the crop may be a little bit lighter than the grower was anticipating. So that's kind of having some upward pressure on price. To my understanding, pricing in pistachios has been fairly decent for growers here in California. But is there anything, APG is currently working on, maybe something unique that differentiates you guys from maybe another trade organization? And, essentially, to my understanding and for the audience watching, what is the primary objective of American Pistachio Growers?
The objective of American Pistachio Growers is to make sure that pistachios grown here in the United States are part of the world's daily diet every day. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of ways that we get to that objective. there's a lot of questions asked in that one question. So I'll try. No, you're fine. We'll see if we can go in order. If I step out of order, get me back in line here. So I think the crop this year looks like it's going to be a record crop. Okay. This past July at our Insights Day, I stood on stage and said that we anticipate a 1.6 billion pound crop. I'm still going to stick with that number. It could be a little bit bigger, could be a little bit smaller, but whatever that number comes in, that will be the largest crop that our industry has seen in its history. So, so a lot of positives. I think some challenges that our growers are dealing with. The rat infestation is certainly a problem for all specialty crops, all tree nut growers. Not as severe depending on where you're growing in pistachios, but there are areas where you're growing pistachios where it's even more severe than in almonds. So that's certainly a concern. I think any of the 3 or 4 concerns that any farmer in California will list as major challenges exist for pistachios. I think water is always going to be an issue. The cost of inputs and the cost of farming, running your business are going to be an issue. So the things that we're working on specific to the grower and what we can help them through, achieve, overcome, manage, survive, whatever words you want to use, we're really focusing our attention on those 2 primary issues, water and the cost of operation. And there's a lot of different ways that we attack those 2 problems. Yeah. And I think it's 74 different episodes of a podcast to cover all those issues. But totally. But those are, if I'm going to boil it down to 2 or 3 things that we are doing specific to the farming side of the business, it's those 2 or 3 things right there. So, but it should be a good year. I mean, I think in a world where we want more people to eat pistachios, having more pistachios for them to eat is a good thing. And what has happened, particularly over the last 24 months on the marketing side, on the promotion side, on the pistachios are the nut in the world right now. Yeah. Whether it's the taste profile, whether it's the color, whether it's the nutritional benefits, anything that you talk about with pistachios in the global food world right now, it's a positive. Yeah. So we're really leaning into the fact that we have a moment right now, and let's not have a reason for our foot to come off the gas. So,
no, great answers. I see it personally. I personally have no problem eating my fair share of pistachios. And it's cool to see anytime you go to an ice cream parlor, a frozen yogurt. I don't know what they call those places. Frozen
gelato
shops. Yeah. You see the pistachio flavored ice creams and yogurts and gelatos. But I had read something about a craze somewhere in the Middle East. It might have been Dubai, a delicacy, a chocolate pistachio. Do you know anything about that?
I think they call it a Dubai chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah. We know a little bit about that. So
okay.
That's a perfect example of what I would call universal serendipity, right?
Okay.
We have somebody created a really cool product, happened to use pistachios, and in this case, American pistachios, and somebody created a video that wasn't manufactured. It was just somebody had a fun time pulling a chocolate bar across and taking a bite into it, and all of a sudden you're the hottest brand in the world, and that's what we're leaning into right now. So
that's amazing.
It's not just the chocolate bar, right? It's Dunkin' Donuts has Dubai chocolate, and basically anybody that has chocolate is now adding pistachios to it to come up with their version of Dubai chocolate. And great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Why would we complain about that?
Absolutely not. No, we need more of that. I'm assuming at some point you guys will drop a pistachio milk.
That's something that's in the works here.
Okay.
So, and really, it's interesting you call that out, because you guys being American pistachio growers, we're not in R&D. We're not, we're not developing products. There's a significant risk there on a cost side, and that's frankly why it's great when other businesses are doing it and have success. When that happens, we can lean in full force with the benefits of our marketing platforms, the benefits of the relationships we have around the globe. We will market the living daylights out of that when those types of products come online. And I think that that's a shift in past lifetimes. I think American pistachio growers was very focused, and correctly so, on building just brand awareness for American versus Iranian, or American versus Turkish. We're winning that battle, right?
Yeah.
70-ish, 75% of the world's supply is coming from right here in the United States, with 95+% of that coming from the Central Valley. What we do now is, when people create a really cool product like Dubai chocolate, let's make sure that we are the partner in amplifying that story. Because if more people are buying Dubai chocolate, that means they're buying American pistachios in that product, right?
Absolutely.
And if the people that are making Dubai chocolate products are buying more pistachios, then our growers are having success, our processors are having success, and all those businesses that are in that universe, in that ecosystem, are having success.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. I know you guys have a goal of 8 billion people eating pistachios in their daily diet. Can you touch a little bit on the shortage of proteins that are projected by the year 2050, and how the pistachio can benefit the human protein intake?
So let me correct some math real quick.
Okay.
I'm not so dumb to believe that we have enough pistachios on the planet right now to feed 8 billion human beings. What I wanted to do coming out of the gate was to stop aiming small for our marketing team and for our organization. Stop setting small objectives and small goals. Let's set something huge. And if we miss, and only 3 billion human beings eat pistachios, that's a lot more than are eating them right now.
Yeah.
So let's stop looking towards incremental gains for the industry. Let's look big. So just some clarity, because when I first started, I said that, and everyone was like, there's not enough trees to. No, I know there's not enough trees. I can do math.
Yeah.
But what I wanted us to do is change how, as an industry and as an organization, we were thinking about how aggressive we can be with this. So the reality is by 2050, there's going to be 10 billion human beings on the planet. It might be 9.8, it might be 11. I don't know the exact number, but all the models are showing that we're going to be at roughly 10 billion human beings within the next, and I say 2050, I'm like, that's way down the road. That's in 25 years. I'm going to be alive during that period of time.
Yeah.
And there's a protein shortage, and protein being the essential element for human health, more so than carbohydrates, more so than just about anything else that you can put in your body. We don't have enough protein to meet the demand of 10 billion human beings to eat and be healthy. And so, I think we were talking about before we got on the air, we're in Europe, and we're seeing venture capital groups putting billions of dollars into stem cell development to manufacture meat, to help see if we can get ahead of this of this concern. We already grow protein, some of the healthiest protein. The reality is because of American pistachio growers, we know, the industry, the world knows that a pistachio is a complete protein, has all 9 amino acids. It's research done through American pistachio growers that helped us understand that about the pistachio. We're growing that right here. We don't need to be sideline or supporting characters in solving this problem. We can be all-stars on the field. We can be starting players in this conversation of addressing the shortage of protein, and doing it in a way, we talk about what's best for the environment. Our growers, they know how to take care of the land, because that's how they make their money, right? They know how to pay attention to how much water they're using, because they're paying for the water. So we already have this ecosystem. I think we need to do a better job, and that's something that American pistachio growers is working on and continue to change our focus on. We can tell a better story to the rest of the world of what we're doing to help solve that protein shortfall.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't like the idea of lab grown meat, especially when we're producing all the proteins that we need. Right.
Yeah.
When it comes to trade and pistachio trade, 95% of the total pistachio crop is coming from
the U.S.
The U.S. crop. Can we talk a little bit about maybe Iran and Turkey, where they might be producing pistachios outside of the United States. And, we all know that, the USA is the best, but what else differentiates, our market and our pistachios from other countries?
So a couple of things that I've been able to put my arms around over the last year and a half. I think the consistency year over year, you can trust that the quality of the product is going to be there. And that drives to farming techniques, that drives towards the efforts towards sustainability. And when we say sustainability, we're not just talking environmental sustainability, we're talking operational sustainability. Yeah. The best farmers, the smartest farmers in the country are right here in the Central Valley, and now starting to spread to places like Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. So we can count on the consistency. Within that, counting on the consistency is the quality and the cleanliness of the product. So we know that that MRLs are a major issue for our worldwide consumer. They can trust that Americans are growing it at a level that you're not going to have a lot of extra junk on there, right? Yeah. Things that are going to damage you beyond the benefit of the product. And our processors have done a really good job of building those trade networks around the world so that we know exactly when it's going to come off the tree, plus or minus a couple of weeks. We know exactly what it's going to look like as far as the quality of the nut, and we know exactly how we're going to get it into the hands of those buyers that can make sure that consumers can get it. So because of that consistency, because of that reliability that has come over a 40-year, 50-year period, that's a really cool American success story. That was not the case in the mid-'70s. It wasn't really even the case until the late 90s, early 2000s. It wasn't until I think 2007 or 2008 that Iran wasn't the leader around the world. We're now the leader. And it's because of that effort of building a consistently good product every single year that allows us to be ahead of the game. I think something that's that all growers of pistachios are going to have to address and deal with. Water is an issue in places. Iran's really struggling with water right now. And so we are struggling with water as well as in California. I think every commodity and specialty crop is in that same bucket. We have really thoughtful people who are trying to get ahead of that conversation and starting to see some small wins, not big wins, but small wins to make sure that we can address that issue in the long run. Iran doesn't have that right now. So I think that's as an entire industry, not just a player within the industry. I think that's something for us to keep an eye on and be concerned about, because we want to win. We also want competitors to play against to win, right? We don't want to be a situation where the industry takes a hit because an entire country can't produce. So,
are there any markets that you might believe have upside opportunity? Maybe outside of Europe. Is China a big consumer of pistachios, and where does APG see kind of the puck going in terms of demand?
So, you say putt or puck?
Puck, like hockey puck.
Yeah, skate to where it's going to be, not where it is right now. Love it. Okay. So China right now is 30% of our export market, ish, between 25 and 30. Sometimes it fluctuates, but just the country of China right now represents roughly a quarter of the product that leaves the United States. India is an up-and-coming market and one that we're investing in heavily. Europe is a mature market, but one that consistently grows. So those are already markets that we're doing business in, and we have a fairly good infrastructure from a marketing, from a trade, and from a purchase and distribution component. China's a little scary right now. Right. And not because of their lack of love of American pistachios, but because of international geopolitics that I think are going to affect everybody, regardless of the direction that ends up going. That's something that everybody in agriculture is worried about right now. 1.4 billion people eat a lot of American product, and that's something that's at risk right now with trade wars. When you say opportunities to skate to where the puck will be instead of where it is right now, we're looking at markets like Brazil, like Indonesia, Poland. Poland seems in the American radar, that doesn't feel like it's going to hit. It's one of the fastest growing middle classes in educated middle classes in the world right now. And so you look at the consumer that's going to buy pistachios, a lot of them index very highly with not a lot of purchase already in place. Yeah. So we don't necessarily look at marketing as continue to spend money where we already have market share. We look at where can we spend money where we don't have a lot of consumption, where we don't have a lot of built-in customer base, because now we can spend money there and we can see and measure what that growth will look like. So those are 3 markets that are high on our radar right now. In Brazil, we just opened up. So we just opened up an office there, and we'll have allocated dollars in our budget to start marketing in that country. And excited for what that future looks like. If you talk about gelato shops, every corner in Brazil has gelato.
Really?
And the top product right now is pistachio. Now, the problem is it's not necessarily actual pistachio. They'll use other nuts, and then they'll use food color to make it look pistachio.
Yeah.
I love the pistachio color. If it's closer to neon than actual pistachio green, it's probably not real pistachios. So we got to be attentive to that. But they love pistachio gelato. They love pistachio chocolate. They love anything that, because pistachio is both high quality and an indicator of success. So Brazil is a market that we're really excited about. Indonesia, a lot like India, some socioeconomic challenges that we've got to overcome, but there's 1 billion people in Indonesia.
Wow.
So that's a market that even if we could get 10% of that, that's a heavy lift.
Yeah.
And a pretty significant gain for our industry.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the role that American Pistachio Growers plays for all growers, all processors, not a particular brand. Our job is to see if we can get to where the puck will be, not where it is right now.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I want to touch a little bit on some of the growers that you represent. Do you know approximately how many growers are associated with APG?
Yeah, we have about 850 assessment paying members right now. And that number can fluctuate a little bit every year. Our job is to grow that number.
Yeah. And is there a lot of commodities are kind of playing this, as we mentioned earlier, sustainability, regenerative, kind of the stewardship model. From consumer trends and consumer demand, do you see that playing into the demand of the overall product, maybe, especially differentiating ourselves from other exporting markets? Are there anything or any programs that APG is putting in place to, maybe growers are getting paid a premium for participating in some of these regenerative practices or going organic? What are you seeing?
So again, big question. Let me kind of break it up into a couple parts of it here. The answer to your question about are we seeing that from a marketing perspective driving demand? The answer is yes, with some conditions. Markets like Europe, the EU, really lean into knowing that their product is farmed sustainably. Mm-hmm. And sustainably and organic are 2 different categories, so I don't want to blend those 2 together. But the short answer to your question, yes, there is a consumer demand for it. We haven't been able to really determine how much of a lift is going to come from that, because it's still a relatively new piece of our platform in terms of marketing. And really, it's not us that's marketing that. It's the brands in the EU markets that are highlighting that. But generally speaking, the EU consumer definitely wants to see that their product is grown well, right? Nice. And so I think that there is value from a marketing perspective for our growers to look at that as an option. Sustainably and organic, 2 different categories, so there's value to both. Mm-hmm. I think organic is, again, prior to my life in agriculture, I would joke that organic is the Nike swoosh on a dry fit t-shirt. It's a brand, and it's a brand that gets the consumer to pay attention to it, and there's certainly quality associated with it. You can also buy the same dry fit t-shirt on the no-name Dick's sporting goods brand for $20, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
you as the consumer need to make a decision. Do you want to pay the $60 because it has the swoosh and a little bit better stitching, or do you want to buy the $20 shirt? And you make the choice, and both end up working depending on the manufacturer and who's making. So if you're an organic farmer, great. And if you have a market for that and people are buying your product and paying a premium for it, I think that's fantastic. That's a different category than sustainability. Sustainability matters such that the farmer can sustainably stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to make decisions that help improve the farm operation, that help them run a better P&L,
Mm-hmm.
then let's move in that direction. And if it also is better for the consumer, better for the environment, better for making sure that 50 years from now we can still grow pistachios in the Central Valley, I'm all for it. And our organization is being forward thinking and out in front of those conversations to introduce those opportunities to the growers. We can't make those decisions for the growers. That's the individual choice of each individual farmer. Our job is to make sure that they're connected to the resources that allow them to make good decisions in those particular areas, and see if we can work with companies like the Ag Center, right, that are already having those conversations across the entire industry. Where are we finding things that seem to be working, and let's connect our growers to those.
Yeah.
We're not going to force you to. I don't want to be forced to make a decision, but let's make sure that we're a vessel or a venue or a channel for getting good information to our growers and letting them make good decisions. Teach correct principles and let people govern themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. We see a lot of, trade shows, various different. I'm trying to think. Is there any trade shows that you guys are attending? I guess where it's putting American pistachios kind of on a global scale. Is there is there like one big event that you guys attend every year that you believe is maybe having an impact on the industry?
There's like a dozen of them that we attend every year, right? And I think it's I'm on my way to one in a week. I'll be in Germany at Cial. Or Nuga. Is it a Nuga or Cial? I can't even remember the names anymore. But I'm only in it 15 months, and I'm already getting the names mixed up. But there are large scale food shows. Gulf Foods is another one in Dubai. One that I think we really made a big impression, and it matters for the market, is Miwa, which was a show that's hosted in India, and it's a dried fruit and nuts show. And we were the absolute stars of the show this past year. We had just signed Jasprit Bumrah. Jasprit Bumrah is the top bowler for the Indian national cricket team. And to give you a point of scale reference here, Tom Brady, who I think we all know, and I don't love, my team is the Bills, so I appreciate Tom Brady, has 15 million followers ish on Instagram. Jasprit Bumrah has 21, almost 22 million followers. Wow. So we signed him as an American pistachio grower spokesperson in India. So imagine signing the biggest name in sports in the United States to a brand deal. We were able to sign him in India. And so we had just done that deal. We show up in India. We are all over every media channel. We're on the LED billboards coming out of the airport. We're on every billboard driving through Mumbai. We had the biggest name in the game, who's representing American pistachio growers. And then we show up at Miwa at this conference, and everybody thought we were rock stars, and they can't wait to get their hands on American product. And it's interesting because they're not buying American pistachio growers as a label or as a brand. They're just excited that it's American. They have these great brands in that market that are putting our product in their bags and selling them to consumers. So that's a show that in a market that we're working hard to develop, and there's some intricacies to the Indian market. Yeah, it's not an XYZ cut and paste model. We're still trying to work through those challenges for our processors and for others that are doing business there. But it's a great market. It's a market that they love our product. They want us to be there. That's one where we're kind of the rock stars, and it's kind of fun.
No, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of people in India who need to eat a lot of American pistachios.
Well, and there's a really cool connection back to the Central Valley, right?
Really?
There's a lot of great families that are farming, that are big farming families here in the Central Valley that have their historical roots and their family genetic roots back to
Absolutely.
India. So it's really cool that we're starting to make those connections, and I think that that's going to be part of our storytelling as we move forward.
That's awesome. Are there any other athletes that you guys are leveraging for markets and marketing?
We're going down that path in our new markets. The United States, it's really hard.
Yeah.
They're really expensive. And the deals, I come from that world. That was my life before. To do a name brand deal with a top American athlete, one that would be recognized in most media channels, your entry level is, you're starting at $5 million a year.
Wow.
And probably closer to 15 or 20 when you layer in all the media that you have to buy, the rights that you have to acquire for intellectual property, all these different things. So when you see one like that get launched, I applaud it and I think it's awesome. I can't afford that with American pistachio growers right now. And nor do I think that would be the right play when you think about the majority of our marketing spend is international. It's in markets like India. So the short answer is yes, we are continuing to look for ways to leverage those opportunities and get those done. I need to get them done at the international level where our ability to get in and do those types of deals is a little bit more friendly to our budget. So
that makes a lot of sense, and I think that the growers also appreciate that. The objective is to, grow markets, new markets, the exports, create a demand. We do want to get domestic consumption up, and I think that naturally Americans eat a lot of pistachios, but I'm not certain on whether or not they eat more than any other country.
179 million pounds last year in the United States.
Okay.
So it's good.
It's good.
Don't get me wrong. That's a great number. That's a little bit more than half of the United States population eating a pound of pistachios.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That is
the amount of money we as American pistachio growers would have to spend to generically, because we don't represent a particular processor, a particular brand, and we do market in the United States. We're the leading voice in nutrition research and nutrition marketing in the United States for pistachios. We'll spend well over $1 million doing that just in the United States this year. So I'm grateful for that. We would have to spend a lot more than that to try to double that number for the United States. And so if there's a specific label or brand that is doing that, God bless you. And I'm grateful for that. And I think that that's the right way for it to be done, because American consumers think like they look for the label. They don't think about the product. Does that make sense? So I joke around with my friends who wonder why I came over from sports. I'm like the commissioner of the league. I don't really care who wins the Super Bowl. I don't care I personally care. I think it's the Bills. It should be the Bills every year. But my job is not to market the Bills or the Cowboys or the Chiefs. My job is to market football. My job is to market pistachios. So whatever the consumer chooses to buy those from, whatever label they choose, I'm good. Yeah. Because the more volume that is sold at a premium price, the more every grower is going to benefit from that. And if I can play a part in making that happen, whether it's domestically or globally, then I'm excited to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the analogy, all boats rise with a rising tide. Yeah. APG spends quite a bit of money on studies that pertain to health and nutrition. Yep. Can you give a little bit of kind of some education on anything in particular that might be exciting or new that you guys have found in relation to pistachio consumption and health?
Well, I think the one that we most recently rolled out was the significant impact that pistachios have on eye health.
Eye health.
So the fact that we're high in lutein, which is one of the key components of good eye health, when you pair that with what we already know about how it helps with diabetes, I'm really kind of bullish on those two things. Mm-hmm. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Yeah. Diabetes tends to affect eye health among many other issues that it creates for people that have diabetes. So the fact that one product that I get to help market and represent can aggressively attack both of those things and help improve life for we all have eyes, and we
Yeah.
all need them to be healthy, and we have a product that can help every single person that has eyes. I mean, we have a product. I think about that as I say that out loud. We have a product that can affect every single human being that has eyes. So every human being can benefit from eating pistachios.
That's amazing.
And then you pair that with what it can do to help with managing A1C, which is one of the key metrics for how well you can control your diabetes. Those two things combined are really exciting for me. We obviously, the complete protein piece is one that we've been involved with for many years and is one of our foundational parts of our nutrition marketing. I'm really excited to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
And to see what our research teams come up with. And our senior director of marketing for North America is also our lead nutritionist. Amber Wilson is one of the most respected names in not just the tree nut industry, but the entire food nutrition industry. So she's always kind of poking around the edges to see where there's something new and exciting. And that she's really one of the reasons why we found that lutein study.
What's it called? Lutein?
Well, lutein is they're antioxidants that naturally occur in certain products. In particular pistachios, lutein is really high, and it is helpful for protection of your eyes against blue light damage, among other things. So it's just this really, like, we found it, and now it's one of the coolest stories over the last year with pistachios, paired with the fact that it already tastes good in chocolate. So
it does. How would somebody go about marketing that?
Well, so we work very closely with medical professionals.
Okay.
And really this is leading up towards the next kind of big thing for us is food as medicine.
Yeah.
So however you feel about whatever administration is in place, that's really a move that's happening in the United States right now. We're starting to lay the framework now, so that 6 to 9 months from now, we're going to pick up the conversation of food as medicine. So rather than being prescribed a shot to help, can prescriptions be written for the types of whole foods like pistachios that can help someone lose 15 or 20 pounds, right? I don't want to stick more needles in my body.
Yeah.
I would like whole food solutions that I can eat and enjoy that help me lead a healthier lifestyle. So I think that's a skating to where the puck will be, as opposed to where it is right now in the food nutrition category is food is medicine.
That's
And
amazing.
We're not, I don't feel comfortable talking about all the things we're doing right now because it's
Yeah.
not fully baked yet,
Mm-hmm.
but that's definitely a direction we're moving in.
That's an amazing message. And I personally try to live by that, and I, encourage everybody to, right?
Think about all the things we grow just in the stretch between Sacramento and Bakersfield, that if we just ate those things, what our health story would be like.
It'd be amazing. Well, Zachary, I think we'll wrap it. Oh, you have 2 questions?
Yeah, for you. I don't
What's
know
up?
if you touched on this, but I'm curious to get your take on, Pistachio Week in the Central Valley and where you guys kind of see that growing. So I don't know if you want to ask them that.
Yeah.
And then the other one I had was from a marketing standpoint, maybe what areas do you guys see that you focus on more, whether it's digital, social media,
Channels.
what
Channels?
channels per se.
Okay.
Kind of interest.
Yeah. So we recently had Pistachio Week here in Fresno. A series of restaurants hosted various dishes, including pistachios. How were the results on that? Was there any feedback? I mean, I know personally the pistachio crusted calamari at Pismo's is one of my favorite dishes.
It's the only dish that and the Santa Maria steak are the only 2 things I remember there. So it went really well. So think about the metrics that we are measuring, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to increase the number of restaurants, and then I wanted to cut our expenses because it was running a little hot the last couple of years. We accomplished both of those. So we doubled the number of restaurants. We weren't just in Fresno. We had restaurants from Sacramento all the way down to Bakersfield, and as far as the coast. We had restaurants in Monterey. So our objective next year is seeing if we can add restaurants in other states that we have membership. So Arizona and New Mexico are 2 states that we're going to target. And because we had success in kind of scaling the budget back down to I wanted to see what it could be when we built an actual marketing plan around it and what our target audience was. And our target audience in this particular case was connecting our growers to the consumers and seeing them. And then adding restaurants that weren't just fine dining experiences. So we had Ampersand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can take my family to Ampersand and for $30 have a really nice night.
Yeah.
Right. I can't do that if I go to. I love Crack Pepper. I love Pismo's. I love some of the great restaurants that we have here in the Valley. I can't take my family out for $30 on that. So making sure that the quality and the opportunities with pistachios were a little bit more accessible to a larger swath of the community, which was an important part for us. An important measurable this past year.
Nice.
And we were able to successfully do that. Now that we have a model that we feel a lot more comfortable, that we have under control, now we can start to build that and scale that out to other states that we grow pistachios in. And it's interesting. We had a couple of restaurants from LA call and say, "Hey, how do we get on that list?" So now there's a little bit of that FOMO that, look, marketing is all about creating. We talked about at the beginning of the pod. The demand around Dubai chocolate kind of happened almost by accident, right? Now everybody doesn't want to miss out on being a part of it. The fact that we have restaurants calling us and saying, "Hey, how do we get to be a part of that?" We've created a little bit of that FOMO. So that's
awesome.
Kind of fun. And we actually have a team in place, cross-functional team between our membership development and our marketing team, actually working together on that, which was really fun to see. Our teams collaborated, which hadn't always been the case in the past. So there were some things we're going to fix, things that challenges that happen every time that you come out of the gate, especially if you reformulate a project or a program. But I'm really pleased with the teamwork that occurred. I'm really pleased with the budget management that occurred, and I'm really pleased with what we can do to grow that in the future in other states. So the vision, I think the question is what our vision for that is. Why not make this a worldwide phenomenon?
Yeah.
Pistachios are in just about every country now. Let's make sure that every year somewhere around the world is celebrating eating American pistachios.
Yeah, that was a really cool approach to getting pistachios on the dinner plate.
Yeah. And to be fair, people that preceded me at APG are the ones that dreamed it up.
Yeah.
I think what happened this year was we smoothed it out a little bit and made it something that we can scale in the future. So celebrate the people that dreamed it up before me, and the team that we have now, make sure it can grow.
Awesome. What channels does APG leverage? Have you seen a success in social media, maybe restaurant campaigns like we just discussed, or television? What is the future?
So we are a business to something, whether it's business to business or business to consumer, right? So on the business to consumer side, we're really shifting to the digital side of the media delivery. I'll use India again as a really cool example. We had trains in Delhi, so subway trains, wrapped in American Pistachio Grower brand with Jasprit on the train. So obviously they're reacting.
Yeah.
Once you stepped into the train, they had QR codes. So fast commerce is a really big deal in India.
So like quick serve?
Quick. I mean, you scan it. It's like Amazon delivery, but in 15 minutes, not 1 or 2 days.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So you're ordering. You want cigarettes, Cokes, and pistachios at your next stop on the train. You can scan the QR code. It'll be waiting for you when you get off the train. Like that fast commerce in India.
Wow.
So now we have QR codes scanning to stores that sell American pistachios and delivery people taking it to your location. So we could track how effective that marketing campaign was, not just by how many people looked at it or stepped on the train or saw it, how many people are scanning the QR code to buy the product.
That's interesting.
So you're incorporating
My Trip in India that does that.
Yeah.
Are there multiples?
There's multiple,
like an Uber Eats.
There's a ton of different companies. I mean,
awesome.
Got 1.4 billion consumers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and it's really kind of interesting because they're leading what you're. I saw that in Dubai. I've seen that in Europe, but the best at it. Not my experience. It's personal and very subjective, but my experience in India was that it was really, really well done. So, so you're looking at digital channels, people using their phones, people using QR codes on wide format media, train wraps that are going through a city of 20 million people.
Yeah.
So we're still using traditional OTA marketing channels. We're still using large format marketing channels, but now encouraging people to use their devices to engage with us and to purchase product. We haven't really ever been able to do that before.
Yeah.
And again, to be fair to the people that preceded me, I don't think it was because they didn't want to do it. I don't know that pre-COVID, the technological platforms existed that allowed consumers to be connected like that.
Yeah.
Now that they exist, our marketing team is really doing a nice job of diving in and leveraging those.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap it up here today. Thank you, Zachary. We really appreciate the time you spent with us,
thanks for the
educating
invite.
our audience on pistachios.
I appreciate the invite. Are we supposed to toast now, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To pistachios.
I'm alive, and I see things my way.